and welcome to day 18 of Shocktober. Today we're going to be doing a remake versus original, and I don't know what I can't remember if that was a requirement for Shocktober. I feel like it might have been, but doing a Stephen King adaptation doing a Stephen King adaptation was definitely a requirement, so I could be killing two birds with one stone. Can't remember. Actually 4, because there's a woman director on this. 4 birds. How did I go from 2 birds to 4 birds? Anyways, we're gonna be doing a remake versus original for Carrie. Now I don't know why, and I went back and checked. For some reason, like, I kept thinking that I've done this already, and I think maybe it's just because I did a Dissecting the Macabre on Carrie. I think that's the only reason why. I got so paranoid I kept going to check if I've done this before, which kind of surprised me that it's like, I can't believe I don't remember if I've done that yet. But you know, I have over 400 videos, so it's easy to forget which ones I've, which movies I reviewed and which ones I haven't. But hopefully I'm not repeating it. Hopefully I somehow didn't miss the video when I went, because I really went back and checked. Right, anyway, so let's compare these two. To be clear, I'm going to be obviously pitting the original 1976 Brian De Palma version against the most recent adaptation, which is 2013 Kimberly Pierce adaptation. Of course, first we're going to talk about the original 1976 Brian De Palma's Carrie. So let's quickly get into what I like about that one. And I will link my Dissecting the Macabre on Carrie up there as well. First thing, of course, we have to talk about, which is what everybody compares with these two films, is the way Carrie looks. So Carrie was portrayed by Sissy Spacek in the 1976 version. Oh Lord. I do much prefer the way Carrie looks in this original version. She just looks way more, you know, kind of like mousy and small, and she really has that air about her that she has been bullied and ostracized by her peers for a very long time. You can just tell. It's, I don't know, it's the way she like acted it, the way she holds herself, the way she acts around the girls, like during gym class and stuff. You can tell she's been bullied for a long time, and I think that just adds more to the character and like really makes you feel for her. Obviously, like, who doesn't feel sorry for Carrie, at least in the beginning? And I really like the way she portrayed Carrie in that iconic prom scene. I really like kind of her, I mean, it's I mean, I feel like her look is kind of parodied, the very wide-eyed. She looks a little bit crazy, like just super wide-eyed, and you know, and I think it helps too because she's so thin, especially her face. She just looks very scary. And the way her face is kind of just frozen, and like when she moves, she's just frozen, like almost just like, you know, like you can just tell it's the last straw. And I also liked that there's really no survivors except for Sue in this. I think it, especially since she does not spare the gym teacher in the original. Hopefully I'm not spoiling that for anybody. I think that really just shows a little bit how uncontrollable her powers are, especially when she's in the state that she's in, you know, in the prom scene, like where she's just so incredibly like hurt after being tricked so cruelly. I think that really just speaks a lot to bullying in general. Like, you know, if you push somebody too far like that, it doesn't matter if you were nice to them in the past. They can still hurt you, and they won't they won't differentiate anymore between their friends and their enemies. Of course, there are things I don't like about the original version, and the one thing I really don't care for in the original is kind of the slow-mo parts. There are a few parts in the movie, and I think the worst offender is during the prom sequence, when they use slow-mo and just certain things just drag on for so long. And the part I'm talking about in particular is when it's announced that Carrie has won prom queen. And that part goes in so, like, from the moment her name is called, it is slow-mo up until she gets on that stage and when the bucket of pig's blood is dumped on her, and oh my god, does it take forever for that bucket to drop on her. It's almost to the point where I'm cheering for the bucket to fall because I just want to get to the point where she kills everybody. But it just takes so long, and I feel like it's like it could have been effective if he didn't make like her entire walk up to the stage in slow motion. I know it was kind of to convey, like, you know, how surreal it was for Carrie, but it really, like, the whole sequence just loses steam in that slow-mo part. I still give Carrie a 5 out of 5 regardless. On IMDb, it has a 7.4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 93% critic score and 76% audience score. And Roger Ebert gave it a 3.5 out of 4. Now, on to the remake. What did we like about the remake? The first thing I really actually liked about the remake is that it plays up the relationship between Carrie and her mother a bit more. And I like that we can see a bit more of Margaret White. I think Julianne Moore does a really good job. Say what you want about Chloe, what is her name? Chloe Grace Moretz as Carrie, but I think Julianne Moore does a really good job as Margaret White. Not saying that Piper Laurie wasn't a great Margaret, but at least as far as the remake is concerned, I think Julianne Moore did a really good job, and I really like her portrayal of Margaret. I think she definitely dials up the crazy, and I'm a bit more afraid of her in the remake actually than in the original. She really does a good job of making Carrie's mom really terrifying. I also like how they made Tommy Ross's character a bit more involved with standing up for Carrie, particularly in the classroom scene where Carrie reads the poem. And there's like a really just sad and sickening part where even the teacher is, you know, lightly bullying Carrie. Like, he makes a remark about, you know, like, because she reads like a very heavy poem, and he makes a remark about, you know, like, okay, if you're done freaking the class out now. Tommy Ross kind of chimes in and calls him an asshole under his breath, and stands up for Carrie. So I like that a bit more. He asks his girlfriend Sue, you know, what Carrie White has, you know, he asked her, like, what has Carrie White ever done to you? I think that makes the whole prom sequence a little more endearing, and I think it makes it a little bit more believable that, you know, Tommy could like Carrie. Maybe not in a romantic way, but he definitely doesn't hate her and doesn't think that she's nothing. And then kind of going with what I don't like about the original, I like that they made that prom sequence a little bit quicker in terms of Carrie getting up to the stage and having the bucket dropped on her. To me, that just works well, and that gives way more time for the scary part of the prom scene, which is when Carrie starts killing everybody. So I think, you know, that allowed for more time to see some gore and some terror rather than watching Carrie walk slow-mo up to the stage. Now, of course, we have to talk about what I didn't like about the remake. Of course, I don't think Chloe Grace Moretz was the best choice for Carrie. Just my personal taste, I don't particularly like the way she acted it. I don't know, I think maybe it could be due to the fact that she was so young when this movie was made. I think she was like 15 or 16 while they were filming this, as opposed to Sissy Spacek, who was like 27 or 28. But I don't know if maybe it was just because, like, she's so she's so young, and not discounting her. I don't know her life. I don't know if she's ever been bullied, but the way she acts in the film, that's the only thing I can judge. The way she acts in the film, it seems like, you know, she's just now getting bullied. She doesn't kind of have that air about her that Sissy does, that she's been bullied for a very long time. Yeah, it just kind of seems like she's just now starting to be bullied or something, the way she kind of reacts to everything. And then we have to talk about her body movements. when she's, you know, exercising her telekinesis. I do not like the whole like shoulder things and how she's all like, ah. I feel like that makes it a little hokey. I didn't like the way she like physically acted the telekinesis part. We have to address the fact that I think Carrie is just one of those stories that doesn't need to be remade. I think the 1976 version does have its flaws, but I think that really needs to really be the only version, because the original story, and I can only judge based off the movie, is such a solid story, and it's so universal, I think, with like the bullying aspect and, you know, the fear of female power, like with the principal. Like in both films, you know, you see the principal, he doesn't even want to say the word tampon, and is, you know, dances around the subject of periods and things. I think those things are just so, they just kind of transcend time a little bit. I don't think that it's, as far as the realm of like, you know, fear of female power and bullying, I don't think a lot has changed, as sad as that sounds. I don't think a lot has changed in those realms, so I don't think there was really much to update with Carrie. The only thing they could have updated, which they did, was kind of the use of social media a little bit. How in the infamous shower scene, they film Carrie while they're throwing tampons and pads at her, and then they post it on social media. And that's really the only thing. Like, I was thinking about it a lot when I was watching the remake. Like, there's really nothing else that they can update. Like, they updated the soundtrack and they added a social media aspect, and that's really all you can do. I think the story is just so solid that there's really nothing you can remake about it. Like, there's nothing you can update about it. That being said, I'm gonna give it a rating of 3 out of 5. I definitely don't hate this remake as much as a lot of other people do. Not saying that their opinions aren't valid or anything, but still definitely not as good as the original. Let's get that straight. On IMDb, it has a 5.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 48% critic score and 44% audience score, and then Roger Ebert gave it a 3 out of 4. Yeah. So I don't think it's any surprise that I'm gonna pick the original over the remake. If you can only watch one ever, watch the original. Yeah, so if you've seen either of those Carries, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about them. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here and become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday, and then every single day this month there is an additional movie review for Shocktober. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.